So I think a lot about how our attitudes about race and other social constructs hide within attractions to influence who we allow to include in community with ourselves. I belong to an online community called Tantra for Gay Men, where I encountered a post that included this photograph. It was captioned, "Just tried this body painting to showcase love and pure soul. Hope you guys like it. Hug emoji." It spoke to me as an image because it purposely obscured any identification of gender or sexuality, race, or ethnicity. Even more so, it challenges us to rethink the boundaries of the body and where one body ends and another begins, allowing us to see bodies joined together, removing all separation. It was in this transnational space that I was able to talk to the artist who lives in Delhi, India. This artist's name is Sid Siddharth, and he describes himself as a queer gender fluid activist, fashion designer, and body paint artist. He posts his work in an Instagram account with the handle Queerotic and the description, "Do you prefer him or her? Either one's cool. I'm gender fluid." As I researched him further, I found an academic article that he had written entitled "Transgenderism in Hindu Mythology." One of his only writings in English, leaving me to believe it was for a wider non-Hindu audience. In the article, he talks about the Hira in South Asia as a spiritual people who identified with the god Shiva, a sexually ambivalent figure in Hinduism. Hira is often translated as eunuch or hermaphrodite in colonial literature, but essentially represent a third gender. He describes that during the Mughal period of the 16th century Islamic rule, the Hira played important roles as political advisors, administrators, generals, and guardians of the harems. They were characterized as clever, trustworthy, and fiercely loyal. They were often rewarded with land that provided both food and income from agricultural production. Here I modified the photo of the body painting to give it a sepia look, similar to the early archival photographs of the Hira in India. Sid Siddharth further explains that during the British colonial period, as Britain took over rule, they could not understand why the Hira, seeing them as undesirable, would be given such favor. British law took their right to land because it wasn't inherited through blood relations, and then criminalized the Hira by making sodomy illegal, and in some areas of India, separating them off as their own caste or tribe. In post-colonial India, the Sodomy Act was repealed in 1952, yet the effects of local laws that required registration and surveillance of sexual deviance continued until 2012. Prejudicial attitudes still prevail through many areas of India. This artist represents a growing movement of equal rights, for equal rights of gay and trans people today. But I can't help but notice, though, that even the terms gay and trans seem to be imposed from a Western gaze. When I spoke with Sid about his work, he gave me permission to use the images and provided this color version with an interpretation. Anyone who is in love is making love the whole time, even when they're not. When two bodies meet, it is just the cup overflowing. They can stay together for hours, even days. They begin to dance one day and finish it the next, or such is the pleasure they experience, they may never finish it. No 11 minutes for them. I never heard this reference to 11 minutes and thought it might be some idiom, but on further research, I found a book called Once Minutos by Paulo Coelho that describes the sexual self-realization of a Brazilian woman who seeks her fortune in Switzerland. She describes the act of sex in a brothel as only being 11 minutes long and surmising how the entire power of the whole world revolves around something that was so short. She later goes on to describe a realization that sacred sex was sex that was mingled with true love and which involves the giving up of one's soul for the loved one. I shared this photo this weekend at a men's group where there was a discussion on the intersection of spirituality and sexuality. This led to a discussion of ideas of pleasure as an energy that nourishes and heals us, and through which we can connect to the divine. I have learned through this experience that we often get lost in talking about equal rights for communities impacted by colonial rule of law, and lose sight of the impact it has had on our ideas of passion, pleasure, and joining of bodies. This body painting invites us to heal colonial ideas of pleasure. A no better description of this body painting can I find but the poem that opens the Paul Coelho book. For I am the first and the last. I am the venerated and the despised. I am the prostitute and the saint. I am the wife and the virgin. I am the mother and the daughter. I am the arms of my mother. I am the barren, and my children are many. I am the married woman and the spinster. I am the woman who gives birth and she who never procreated. I am the consolation for the pain of birth. I am the wife and the husband, and it was my man who created me. I am the mother of my father. I am the sister of my husband, and he is my rejected son. Always respect me, for I am the shameful and the magnificent one.